Alright, back at it again. I'll try to talk a little louder this time. Last video I actually had to bump the volume up on the editing program. Yeah, I'm in the bathroom again. Can't be too loud though, I gotta listen for little Maddie. All three kids are sick. Brandon, luckily, the oldest is Joey, and Matthew, and then Brandon. Brandon and Matthew are only a minute apart. Which I don't know why even people go by that. I can see about your birthday, when you're born, your birth. As far as conception, it all depends on when the hell who knows when which sperm won. So I'm not even gonna let them argue about that or even know about it. No freaking, oh, I'm older than you by a minute. No. But they've been sick for about a week and a half. I think they're just passing it between each other. They get better and they give it back, and oh, it's just freaking crazy. But Brandon has a cold. Joey has a cold. Really bad cold. And I had my wife take him to the doctor yesterday. We woke up and his eyes were freaking bloodshot, like bad. And so she took him. I think he said it's a bacterial infection. So for his cold, he got an antibiotic, which probably worked for the eyes too, and he got eye drops. He does not like the eye drops. We gotta hold him down like a rabid dog to put them in. It's not fun. But Matthew, we're just so used to calling him Maddie. He's downstairs on the couch bundled up. He's been like a zombie all day, just sick. My wife said he had it was a little warm earlier today. I forgot my chapstick. And he's still a little warm. He just looks sick as a dog. He just looks like shit. So I just put him on the couch, bundled him up, and he passed out. I put the kids in bed early because they're rabid dogs. They smell blood, and because I told him. So then Brandon goes over near Maddie and he starts bugging him. I told him, no, don't bother him. Don't bother him. I'm gonna smack you. I'm gonna freaking bend you over. I'm gonna spank your ass. For like literally 20 seconds, I was drilling in the head. Don't bother Maddie. He's sleeping. So I finally said, fuck it. They wouldn't stop. So it's bedtime. Normally their bedtime is around 7:30. This time it was like 6:30. I don't give a shit. They're sick. All of them are sick. Maddie's the worst. Maddie needs to be left alone, and they all need to get more rest. Joey's the freakiest. Well, his eyes are getting better. But yesterday it was starting to freak me out towards the end of the day. Because they weren't like, you see bloodshot eyes, or just see light, you see the veins, light tinge of red. No, his were freaking just like lightning bolts all over his eyes, dark red, like bad. So I just kind of freaked out in my head, and I just said, Lord, if you're gonna, I said, you can take my sight before his. You can take my life before his. I don't give a shit. was just freaking out. I just started praying. I'm not really a freaking. I'm not really crazy. Like, I'm not. And religiously, I'm not. Damn it! What? There's so many freaking different ways people are religious nowadays. I am to myself. I don't preach to other people. I mean, it's an important thing to me personally, and that's it. You know, I don't go around preaching. It's like it's just a private and personal relationship with the Lord. That's it. The hell was that? Douchebag driving by blasting his freaking crappy music. I was getting pretty worried about Joey. It's just, you know, yeah, that's all that needs to happen. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so if I see something that looks bad, I'm gonna, you know, especially being a selfless parent. I mean, I'm not gonna. I keep everything to myself because I mean, if I start freaking out, you know, obviously they'll freak out. My wife will freak out, shit like that. It's like, just keep the thoughts in my head. That's it. So I kept the freak out in my head. I was just thinking like 2 years or 3 years old and lose their eyesight from a random freaking bacterial infection you probably got from school. No, no, I couldn't comprehend that freaking happening. Fuck you, toilet. Yeah, the reason I'm up here in the bathroom, like I said last time about privacy, nobody can hear me through the walls or nothing. Because this shit's going on where I don't want anybody else to eavesdrop. No neighbor, no landlord, nothing, nobody. I mean, yeah, it's going to be publicly, you know, YouTube, whether, I doubt they're, well, no, very, very, very few people that I personally know even know I'm doing this. So chances of her or them, you know, coming across my page is just slim to none. But that's my luck, though. I'm not going to say anything bad. But, yeah, they were just, that's why I've been up here, because I just want privacy. In the last video, I thought, first, I don't know why the hell I thought I'd be able to get through, basically from 2012 until now. Probably because I've been flying through, well, not really flying, but I mean, I've been going pretty quick. Quicker than expected in my other videos going over my childhood and shit like that. That's because all the memories aren't fresh. So it's like, I can't, you know, I go through those that quickly when I'm explaining it, but now it's just like everything's, I mean, the past freaking almost 6 years. Well, that's good. Fresh coil. I cleaned out the tank. I wish they had vaping over a decade ago. fresh coil, good juice, clean tank, fresh batteries. I mean, just this compared to a cigarette, and honestly, I'm just like, how the hell did I ever smoke that long? 22 years. I've been on this a year in June, this past June. Just blowing it out the door. I'm sorry, I just enjoy that shit too much. That's not a permanent thing now. That's just a stepping stone away from cigarettes. I'll be able to easily get off of that as soon as I freaking get away from stress. But, alright. Enough of the small talk. Last video I went over basically from 2012 to 2014. I think where the hell did I stop meeting my... I stopped the video... Yeah, it was funny. Yeah. Well, I ain't got my phone because the battery's dead and the charging port's broken. Which is repairable, thank God. Pretty easy too, but I don't have a Torx size 4 screwdriver. I might in my little kit with all different kind of Torx adapters, solid heads, one with hollow tips. And I'm not sure if I have one that small though. Basically, I just got to take my phone apart, take my wife's old phone apart. They're both Android Max 2s. Joey, freaking my oldest son, broke hers months ago. I'm just going to take them apart, unsolder, and just basically heat up and remove her charging port. Just that little plug where you plug in your phone. As I was looking up, luckily you can replace them. I mean, if I had a brand new one right here and I just put it on, you just basically clean it up, remove the old one, clean it up, and just solder it back on. Or solder the new one on. That easy. So I ain't gonna be able to tell time this time either. In the last video, I'm sitting there waiting and just expecting it to just shut off. And right at the end, right when I'm talking, right when I'm finishing up, it just shuts off. I'm like, you fucker. But last video, I think I ended off with no, I didn't end it with Joey Bieber. I mentioned him with the freaking exhaust getting stolen and the reason for parting the bike out and, putting more work into the house. Well, actually, I'll talk about the house now. I think I already went over the prick. I already went over the details about how it came to be my mom's. I'm not sure if I went over the details as far as, how she fucked it up. Other than the animals and being lazy and not cleaning. I'll go over it again. Well, my grandfather worked in the mines. He bought the house, paid it off. I don't know if he paid it off. I mean, it's been paid off my whole life. My grandfather died in the kitchen of that house from black lung from working in the mines. Then when I was 15, we moved down there. Me, my mom, my sister moved down there to take care of my gran because she was getting too old. How was she, in her early 80s? I think she was in early 80s at the time. She passed away at 92. I don't know where the hell the funeral, the viewing card. I got that somewhere in the cellar, boxed up. I can't remember when the hell she passed away. 2006. Oh, she's there early 80s, I think, when we moved in. And then, what was that when that fucking that piece of crap moved in? And it sounds senseless not to curse on here because it seems YouTube doesn't. The advertisements doesn't like cursing and all that. Let's see, I was 19. Yeah, fuck worrying about cursing. Fuck. But, my mom met this freaking scumbag freaking piece of shit. His name is Michael. I'm not going to use last names. Unless it was freaking, I seen his headstone. Yeah, I'd probably piss on it. This guy was from freaking, was he from Tennessee or something like that? Yeah, that's what some people called him. I mean, with the freaking country folk terms, the hillbilly is mostly for the northeast side of the country. Appalachian Mountains and shit. But most people use it just for people around here. Hillbillies, rednecks, brain fart. All those terms for freaking, freaking country people or people that. I hate that toilet. Redneck, hillbilly, all those freaking terms. He's worse than all of them. I mean, worse if you use those words in bad ways, Just a worthless fucking piece of shit. He had these giant front freaking top teeth that were falling out. I mean, I don't know what the hell his problem. He didn't like me from the get-go. And I think it was just a superiority complex. Like, he basically moved in, and it was like now he ran the rooster or whatever. He ran the hen house. That's what he tried to do, and he basically did, except for me. But I minded my own fucking business. He always fucking bothered me. Always started shit. Just all the freaking time. I remember one time I was just sitting at my computer playing a game. I forget, I think it was like 20 or 21 time. And I forget what happened. Like, nothing happened. I just forget. Well, the cops came to the house. I forget. I don't know if somebody, my mom, sister, or him said the cops were here, or if I went outside and just seen him. Or basically, he called the cops on me out of nowhere for no reason. Like, I wasn't around him. I didn't say nothing to him. I mean, it was like me being up here for like 4 hours and him being downstairs, and all of a sudden the cops show up for me, because of me, because he called them on me. It's like, what? Even then, I was just like, what the hell's going on? So he starts on me right in front of the cops, out of nowhere, just like that, just going nuts. So I literally, he's like literally 2 feet in front of me. Literally, I just put my hands behind my back. I'm like, go ahead. Like he was aggressively coming at me. And I was just like, go ahead. I just stuck my frickin' face out there and go ahead. The cop seen what he was doing. They fucking grabbed him, slammed him on the fucking cop car, restrained him, almost broke his arm, handcuffed him, and put him in the cop car. That's the kind of shit. That's how he was to me. It's like, for no reason. I never even got in an argument with him over anything to get in an argument over. I never started anything with him. I mean, I never fucking cursed at him. I never talked bad to him, I mean, it was all him, just fucking going nuts. I don't know what the hell his problem was. Like I said, probably just superiority complex. He wanted to fucking rule the house and him be, the alpha male or whatever I mean, the guy was so messed up here, just a freaking mental case. But, so, that's how he was. And actually, he is why all my other relatives stopped coming around or talking to my mom, because I don't know, I wasn't living there at the time. I don't think, I forget. I don't know, I don't know how it came about, who said what initially, or I have no idea. But they were basically saying he raped my frickin' or had sex with one or the other. I think she was 88 at the time, 88-year-old grandmother. I don't know. My mom didn't believe. My mom was a frickin' pushover. I mean, she just... I guess she just liked to be ruled by a piece of shit like that. Because she stuck by him. But about the house... Somehow... Well, then... My grandmother signed the house over to my mom. The house was free and clear. Excuse me. And it wasn't even a shithole yet. It was still just like my grandma had it. I mean, it was an old house, but like I said, you could eat off the floor. But, man, no mortgage, no payments, nothing. And I don't know how much it was then, but back in 2012, it was like $650 a year for property taxes. That was it. You own your own home and it's only $650 a year. I mean, that's just a little more than $50 a month rent, so to speak. I mean, people, I don't understand. How the hell could you even think of even fiddling with that? I mean, that is just such a I mean, she was on a fixed income too. My mom and my sister were on disability. But he convinced her to get a $20,000 equity loan out on the house. What the hell was I? I forget where the hell I was living at the time. See, I know I wasn't living there, but I'm not sure where in that time frame this all happened. Was I already living in Scranton? I don't know, because I know I wasn't there, so I can't pinpoint what, the whole situation, but he convinced her to take out a $20,000 equity loan out on a house that's free and clear. There's only one time, well, 2 times you do that. One, absolute emergencies. I'm talking absolute emergency. 2, when you're putting it back into the house, when you're remodeling, upgrading, fixing, etc. Lady on my postal route just did that. Brand new roof, brand new siding. I told her the same thing, what they did. And she's like, oh my God. So, they took that loan out, and they went down to Tennessee for a week or 2 or something like that. I think she bought him another station wagon to deliver his papers in, his paper route. Yeah, 57-year-old paper boy, that's what he was. I'm pretty sure I remember saying that too. And I don't know where any of the money went. Yeah, my mom, he hate that fucking toilet. He got a used station wagon, and my mom got a used Dodge Intrepid. I think it was an Intrepid. I think that's what she bought it with. Something like that, but where all the other money went to, I don't know, because, I mean, none of it went in the house. They didn't buy stuff with it. So I don't know, honestly. I still don't know where the hell any of that money went to. So, I mean, I don't know if he basically stole it and, kept it in his bank account. I have no idea. I mean, I should ask my mom one of these days. But, let's see. Yeah, that was about the house, why there was an equity loan out on it. I don't want to get too off track. I was thinking about something else, but that's for the other videos. So I'm basically just going from 2012 to current, just to go over how shitty everything is, or was, is, and how it stays. Oh. So there's, everything happened. My mom, my sister, Amber passed away, or Amber. I don't know how many times I almost called my wife, my wife's name Amber. I don't know how many times I almost call her Angela. Angela passed away, 2 weeks before Joey was born. And then April 8th, we went into the hospital and got induced. That was a catastrophe. I'm not even getting into that just because. I can't. I could, but I can't. I'll leave it at that. 3 days, had to have an emergency C-section. Like I said, I was just so broken, so hurt, and so much shit. My mom, my sister in the house, I was happy, but I mean, like I said in the last video, I should have been crying, tears of joy, like you wouldn't believe. So I mean, if that shit, if none of that crap happened, I mean, I would have been doing, like I said, cartwheels down the hall. I was happy, but I was, like I said, it's just so still. I was just so broken. I never lost anybody. I mean, my grams, both of my grandmothers rather. I mean, my father's mom, that gram, she passed away in November of '97 when I was up St. Mike's. I mean, I cried for that, but I mean, when somebody passes, they're old. I mean, they're old. I mean, she was at least in her 80s, probably late 80s. So it's like I mean, you mourn the loss, but I mean, it's acceptable because they lived a full life. That's what makes it acceptable. It's like, you know, we should all be that lucky to live to be past 80. And then my mom's mom, that grandmother, she freaking passed away at 92. I mean, that was a little harder because, you know, I didn't really. My dad's mom, I wasn't really around her that much. And when I was a kid, and she didn't like kids, so she was always a little bitchy. And she got nicer as I was growing up, but I mean, my mom's mom, we moved. I mean, she only lived across town when we were growing up, and we moved in with her. So that bothered me a lot more. And just shit like, you know, what the hell? Just when I'm making freaking, like, I think when I'm making, I forget, I haven't had that memory pop in my head, I forget why. Something would make me remember she would always eat hard-boiled eggs. I forget what always reminded me of that. I think either making scrambled eggs or something with eggs. It just random shit like that bothered me from time to time. What? My sister passing? I mean, my two grandmothers, I mean, other than that, it was just pets. And Angela, and, you know, who she was. And, I mean, like I said, every day, it's just. That knife is just right there in my freaking heart, just stabbing and stabbing and stabbing. You never get over it. I mean, you just simply not think about it for. You just not think about it as much as you can, just keep on living. Or at least try not to think about it to the point where it's going to make you sad. But I mean, but then you hear a song come on the radio, or a smell, or see something or anything, and it's just like, boom, there's your heart getting ripped open again. So that's why my son was born, I was just, you really can't describe it. That's the only thing I hate about this. As far as recording, how noisy this shit is. Damn, that's good. A strawberry fruit chew. Yeah, here comes Joey. April 8th, 2014. 8 pounds 11 ounces. I was 8 pounds 14 ounces. What the hell did he come in? I forget what time. I know it was dark out because I was outside having a cigarette. When I came back in, she was in the operating room for an emergency C-section. Oh. And by then we had two upstairs rooms in the house, 2 bedrooms upstairs, completely remodeled. Well, not completely, but my old bedroom was Joey's room. We, basically ripped it down bare except for the walls. Except for the chimney that went up through the room. The freaking sheetrock was just crumbling off of that from some freaking shit douchebag Michael was doing. He had something up against it. So I just basically was everything already off or like No, once I took the carpeting out, I just scraped all of it off, cleaned it up. I painted the room like a darker teal blue. And then I painted the chimney that color too. And then we got brand new carpeting and everything in that room. So, just made it hazard. One thing I loved about that house, though, the ceilings on the second floor was like a cherry wood. It was like the kind of wood you would have on your floor. They're like the wood panel, the strips of wood are like only like that wide. It's like what you would have on the floor. Fucking toilet. I hate that. Right in the middle of talking, all of a sudden it refills. It's like the cherry stained wood that you would have on the floor is on the ceiling. It was weird, but it was fucking nice. I used to freaking appreciate it when as a teenager when we first moved in. It was just different. I love different things, and it was nice. I'm not sure if the first floor. Somebody said the first floor was done in that too, but in the flood of '72, it got ruined. I don't see how it would have went well on the first floor though. The big back room, that's my grandma's old room. My mom was such a hoarder. She'd buy clothes and more clothes and more clothes from the freaking thrift store. Oh my god. Literally, there were, between the clothes and just stuff, they were piled up literally 3 to 4 feet high throughout the entire room. What the hell was it, like 14 by 16? It wasn't a really small room. I mean, it was just, it was an old house, so it wasn't a gigantic room, but I mean, there was just enough room to open the door, and that was it. And guess where all the stuff went to? Right back to the thrift store. Everything that wasn't garbage, I just bagged up and took it back. Between 2 cars, completely filled with garbage bags of clothes and stuff. Would it take us 3 trips? Oh, yeah, we cleaned out that room, repainted it, and put fucking really good carpeting in there. Sort of like what's in here. But it needed new freaking walls, new drywall. Just mostly in the top of the wall was getting there. That's all the kind of shit the whole house even really needed. Was just stuff like that. Just, redo the walls and the freaking floor. That was pretty much mostly all it was. I mean, the kitchen and bathroom was the worst. Kitchen needed to be completely redone. Well, not the walls, but everything else in the kitchen needed to be redone. In the bathroom, that needed everything in the bathroom. What I was going to. Oh. So, when you get back home, Joey's home. Everything's good. Like I said, we run out of money, and Joey's here, so it's like, okay, shit hit the fan. I gotta do something. I gotta get the fuck to work. So I'm just thinking, I'm like, I don't want a job. I'm not one for jobs. I'm not one for just mindlessly doing something for $1. I fucking hate it. I don't care what it is. If I don't enjoy it and it doesn't, if it's, I don't know, it's just like say production or I don't know, it's just, I've been weird about dead end jobs, basically. That's it, dead end jobs. So I'm just thinking, it just literally just popped in my head. Take the postal test again for the post office. Which, honestly, I've wanted to be a mailman since I was a little kid. Just because I just loved getting mail as a kid. And my mailman was cool as shit. That's basically exactly the attitude I brought with me to being a mailman. Just being just a nice guy. So it just popped in my head one day. Man, he's coughing. Just to take the test again. So I took the test. I forget what time my score was. I forget. It was an okay score. But a week later I get an email for one office. I went down for the interview. One guy went in, it was 4 of us. We're just sitting at the table, and the postmaster was taking us in one at a time. First guy she took in was the one that she already determined to hire. And then I went second. And as soon as I walk in and sit down, she told me that she basically predetermined that she was going to hire the person with the highest score. And that was the guy she first took in. He had half a point higher than me. 0.5 higher score than me. I wasn't bothered. What's there to be bothered about? She already determined it before we even got into the office. Before we even got there. So, it was like, what's there to be mad about? Other than, half a freaking point. But we started bullshitting. She asked me, why do I want to be a mailman, and just all that shit. I was just telling her basically everything that was going on with my mom, my sister, the house, and, just had a baby a few months. It was either the last week of May or the first week of June. I think it was the first week of June. Well, one or the other. But I don't know. I guess freaking, I guess just being sincere and everything going to shit, and having a kid, a son just born. I guess she took a shine to me, because she said she's going to contact her friend that's a postmaster in another town, try to get me there, and basically have her call me. So I left there. I go back home, And I think it was like 2 hours later, I get a phone call. The same day, I get a phone call from the other postmaster at the other office, asking me questions. 5 minutes into the conversation, I guess she finally looked down at the paperwork or recognized the last name. And she asked me, she's like, wait. What's your sister Angela? And, just passing away. I'm like, yeah. Her exact next words. I can't hire you, I'm your cousin. I'm just like, that's the kind of luck I have. My whole life. My entire fucking life. That is my reality. That kind of shit. And I was just like, oh. Because apparently you can't hire relatives. Because, I mean, yeah, it's a good thing because it just shows that, they can't be, they don't fuck you toilet. I gotta fix that. I gotta buy a whole new hardware for that shit. It sounds like it's leaking into the toilet. But it shows that they're biased. They don't want people, they want people hiring all their friends and relatives. But then I get home towards the end of the day, towards the end of the work day, like, I think it was like 3 or 4 o'clock. The first postmaster calls me back. And she basically said, well, I'll have an opening up in July. Yeah, it was the last week of May. She's like, I'll have another opening in July. If you can hold out until then. So I was like, okay. So then later that night, was it that night or the next day? I think it was that night. I get an email from her saying, basic good news, you got an interview at this post office on this date. I'm like, okay, cool. Ow. Which I think it was the next day that I had the interview. But I went to the interview and I mean, based on what the postmaster who interviewed me said, it was already predetermined that I was already hired there. Because the postmaster that interviewed me, she was only filling in at the office. The office I work at, I got hired at, didn't have a permanent postmaster. So, because one thing she said to me during the interview was that she likes to do her own hiring. That makes me think I was already hired. I was just getting an interview. But that was it. So I took the test, and within a week, I had freaking an interview, 2 interviews, and I had the job. Most people, I mean, I just... That is probably the only thing that is like the only blessing I can actually see that I got from God. If you want to go there, I mean, obviously my family too. I mean, I'm not gonna downplay that. I'm just saying, mean, just something happening that is just obviously, it's just a gift. Like, it all happened right at the right time, right when I needed it the most. And so quickly, because I mean, some people, they wait like months to years waiting to get hired. Me, it was a freaking week. I remember I went to orientation, and the guy that got hired at my first interview ahead of me, he was already working at the office. He was working, well, before he started orientation because they needed him really bad. And he was working after orientation. We got there like 2 o'clock. And he was doing a walking route. Basically, you just walk. That's it. You walk out of the office and you just walk around town, deliver mail. When you get done with how much mail you have in your hands, you usually end up at another one of those big brown or green boxes. And you pick more mail up out of those, and you keep going till you get to another one. And because I filled in there a few times, walking routes suck. So I am so grateful I didn't get hired at that office, because that's what I would have been doing, and I wouldn't have lasted. There would have been no way I would have lasted. Because I actually, three offices I did walking routes out of. 2 of them absolutely sucked. The one in Hazleton, I loved it, because I pushed one of those carts. The cart, and you got 2 mail bags on each side and one in the front, and you're basically doing the same thing. Going from delivering, then you go from drop box to drop box, picking up more and loading back up. But having that cart, it wasn't very strenuous. It wasn't as stressful on your body as the other ones. Not to mention the hills. I mean, basically, it was 2 big hills, went all the way up. Giant hill, but there was so many streets going parallel, and you just go back and forth up streets and just up the hill a little bit, back and forth, up the hill a bit more. So you weren't walking all the way up this giant hill. You were just going up, back, just like that. I never remember being physically exhausted at that office. Just the other 2 offices are just, oh my God. I was still at the house at the time, the family house in Plymouth, and freaking, thank God for a clawfoot bathtub. I would fill that sucker up with just hot water, and it'd just soak my muscles. Oh my God. So, yeah, here comes the start of all the current shit. Yeah, the start of it. That's right. I locked the cats in the kitchen because Maddie's downstairs. I don't want him in the kitchen. They get in everything. Just in case he got up, but he's on the couch. So the door's open. There ain't a sound in the house. So if he was to wake up, I already heard him coughing. If he was to wake up, I'd hear him walking around, or he'd start whining. Well, it's like he start whining. So I started working at the post office. I was working decent hours, but it wasn't continuously full time. Mostly in the 30s, 30 some hours. But it was more money than I've been making. But I wasn't making enough quick enough. Because And my wife was going through postpartum depression. And she just kept bugging me and bugging me and bugging me, saying she just needs to, like, she'd just have days where she'd just flip the fuck out. I mean, just she'd act distant, she'd be mean, miserable, just like she didn't want to be there anymore, be in a relationship anymore, nothing. I mean, you'd pick it up just in the way she spoke, or the way she physically acted, everything. She just kept fucking about, oh, you just need a little bit of weed. And no, just like I think yesterday, I will never let her let that live that down. Because I told her many, many, many times, because I've been on Zoloft since 2011. Because I just got sick and tired. I didn't know you can go to your regular doctor and get antidepressants. Because I needed them bad. I was basically making myself miserable. I mean, I was just thinking so negatively, and just being so depressed. I was just thinking negative things out of nothing. I mean, it was bad. I was just so sick and tired of it. I was, because I was on it when I was like 14 or something like that. And I loved it back then. It made me so happy. Not drug happy, just, outgoing and shit like that. So I just fed up. I went to my doctor. I told him, I was like, well, I was on Zoloft before, and it really helped back then. He said, all right, I'll start you out on 50 milligrams, because when I first started, when I was a kid, they put me on too much, and I was always sleeping all day. It was making me too drowsy. So I started on 50 milligrams of that for a while, then I went up to 100, and that was it. I've been staying at 100, but now I'm getting back down to 50 for a couple of days. I'm trying to get off of it and see if everything's good. But that's what I told her to do. Just go to a freaking doctor or psychiatrist or even psychologist or whatever. Just get on some freaking happy pills. What the hell's the big deal? It's nothing to be shameful about. But no, she did not listen. So finally one day we were out shopping up the mall and shit like that, and she would be walking way ahead of me and Joey. Joey's only a few months old. Joey was 4 months old. That's it. She'd be walking way ahead of us or way behind us and just acting like she wasn't with us. And just being a miserable bitch. Just, ugh. So finally I had enough. I was like, you know what? Fine. Tried contacting my nephew Gregory. Apparently he's a pothead, told us. Well, I sent him a message. Somehow, instead of the message going to him, it goes to a frickin' drug detective. I never found out how that happened. I'm assuming it has to do with my nephew. Maybe he got busted. Maybe he was working with the cops somehow. I don't know. I don't know if they were, monitoring his phone or his text messages. I don't know. They wouldn't tell me. But I mean, say him changing his number and then a freaking drug detective getting his old number that I had, the chances of that happening, no, I don't think so. But that's my luck. If there was nothing foul at play, that's my luck. That is my luck. So, instead of meeting up with my nephew, just to buy her a little dime bag or a nickel bag or something like that to take the edge off because she won't listen to me, we meet up with the drug detective and we get busted. He didn't arrest us or nothing. Took down our information. I explained to him sincerely what was going on. The house, my sister passed away, my mom, Joey just being born, just getting a postal job. Let's just say he's a fucking piece of shit. He ran us through the ringer. Speaking of Hazleton, working down there, that's where I was working that day when I got a phone call from him stating basically, yeah, you gotta go, you gotta come up to the courthouse on this day at this time, or else we're gonna send a warrant out for your arrest. You're gonna go to jail. I started questioning, like, what the fuck? I didn't get anything in the mail or nothing. I didn't get, it was just, I don't remember him even giving us any, no, he didn't even give us any paperwork or anything when we met up with him. He didn't give us anything when we met up with him instead of my nephew. Son of a bitch. So I was questioning him. I'm like, you expect me to just show up? I didn't get any paperwork or nothing in the mail, and what the hell's going on? Trying to get comfortable. So I think I'm not sure. So we had to get a lawyer. I'm not sure if it was before that appointment or right after it. But basically, my mom was 2 years behind on her taxes and 2 months behind on her equity loan. It seems like all loans have a 3-month rule. You go past 3 months being behind and you're fucked. So, I got a good paycheck, really nice. I could have caught up on the taxes by a year. Well, it was towards the end. I mean, it was August, and it was that year it was still due. So I could have caught up on 1 year of taxes, and I could have caught up on the 2 months I'm behind an equity loan. It was like right by 3 months, and I could have caught up on it all except for the taxes would have been still 1 year behind. Well, no, it would have been current. I would have had 3 months. But I had to drop 2 G's on a fucking lawyer because she wouldn't listen to me. So guess what happened? Was it the next month or something like that? Well, whatever. I start getting certified letters in the mail. Basically saying you have until this date to get the fuck out of that house from the bank, or else. Now, her equity loan was only $162 a month. Like I said, I wasn't working enough yet. I wasn't making enough money to catch up on all her shit yet. It just so happened I was just getting there then. So you figure 162 times 3. You figure what? 320. You just say $500 fucking dollars. Or 100, yeah, no. 400, damn it. Just say, yeah, just shy of $500. Fuck you, toilet. So it was either pay just shy of $500. Wait, no. What am I? There wasn't two options. I'm rambling on. Yeah, so no, there wasn't two options anymore. It was, after I had to pay the lawyer, I couldn't catch up. And no, the reason I was adding up, it was basically I had to pay, instead of just shy of $500 to catch up, it was now $2,500 and some, or $2,600 and some. They basically came up with $2,100 in fees. I had a car repossessed twice. I paid it off. I paid it back to get it back once. That much paperwork. Add on $2,000. Full of fucking shit. So I didn't have it. I did not have that kind of fucking money in time. And some local company, I don't know how, I know it's local, but I don't know how, I don't know how big the company is past this area. Was supposed to be able to help people. They basically wanted like the past few years of her taxes and her income and all this freaking paperwork that I couldn't get, nor I couldn't get in time, because I had a deadline for them to help me out. So I got fucked over on that. So there was nothing I could do. February of 16. I think it was February 2014. We just simply, we got income tax. We got a little 2-bedroom apartment. We packed up what we needed and abandoned the fucking house. Oh, this is why I didn't have enough to catch up or nothing, because my mom went to a doctor's appointment one day. I'm at work. My wife and my dad took her. Just like that, they put her in a nursing home. No consent, no nothing. It was just when she went to the doctor, and they put her directly in a nursing home. I guess she just wasn't getting the, proper care at home, or, they could have just had nurses come to the house. Actually, I was starting to get in the process of trying to get that done. Have nurses come to the house and shit, but apparently she had a urinary tract infection, and her temperature was down a little bit. It's like, no options, no, I have a nurse come to the house, nothing, just straight into a nursing home, just like that. She went to the doctor's appointment, and they put her there, and that was it. Which means they also, and then Angela passing, so it was like, there goes Angela's income. Well, the freaking nursing home that took her and took that, months prior anyway, but I was still helping for a little while. And then my mom getting taken to nursing home. There goes her income. So it's like now I have all my mom's fucking bills that are behind dropped on me. Not making enough money. Her income is now gone. You know, just trying to pay the bills, keep food on the table and shit. Is like, now, I mean, once I started casing roots and shit, I was making enough, but I wasn't back then, so it was like, too bad. So we just simply packed up, moved out, and abandoned the motherfucker. Just totally messed up. Total freaking bullshit. Because basically, if I was able to catch up and I was able to get the house in my name, I would have had a house free and clear in my name with only $10,000 left to pay on the equity loan, which by now would have been paid off. The house would have been completely remodeled. Everything would have been great. We would have had freaking more money. I mean, we would have had at least freaking a really good savings done, because, I mean, $650 a year in taxes, $162 a month with the equity loan. There was no gas bill because it was freaking, she had oil heat. It was oil heat, and basically had those giant propane tanks for the stove. And I don't know if that was also hooked up to the pilot light on the water heater. I don't know how that works. I never had to mess with a water heater, so I don't know. I mean, there was no sewer bill because it was a septic tank, which that fucking scumbag Michael messed up too. Yeah, he got lazy. Giant septic tank, I forget what he was. I forget what the size was round. I measured it. He got lazy, basically dug one little area, because it usually updated septic tanks, they have a freaking tube coming out of the ground, where you just stick the hose down there and suck up all the waste. This one didn't. It was always only my gram there. So it's like she could never fill it up. He dug it up and he broke the side of the board that was on top of the seal. Basically just cut it, put the hose in that way, and instead of fixing it and sealing it back out, he just laid more plywood on top of it and reburied it. So literally for about 5 years, it was overflowing. You would see water seeping out of the freaking ground right above it, and it would stink. So finally, I got sick of it, and I dug it up completely. The whole fucking thing all the way around, after doing walking routes. Which, I don't know how the hell I did that. And then I went and I made a lid for it. After getting it, we had to get it pumped out. Then I dug it all out. Then I realized, why it needed a new lid or why it was overflowing. I forget what the hell I dug it up. I forget why I initially dug it up. I mean, yeah, I got sick of the smell, but I mean, I forget exactly why. I think I was having trouble flushing the toilet or some shit like that. What? I just made a fucking lid for it. I put, what the hell, some kind of sealant foam in between the wood, and drilled a big hole in the center of that, put a big tube coming out of the ground with a lid on it, a screw-on lid, reburied it. I hate that toilet. Topped it off with fresh soil, some fertilizer, fresh grass. So all that was sticking up now was a white PVC pipe about that high of the ground with a lid on where you just twist it off and you stick the hose down. So I mean, the only bills was electric, cable, water. And that's it. Other than as far as bills go, that's it. And the equity loan and the taxes. I mean, oil, heat, that's not really a bill. You need heat. You need oil, you get it. It's not like you get a bill every month. Unless you want to, budget, you put $50 or $100 a month away towards when you need oil to get it and money's there. But I mean, it would have been so much cheaper just if everything worked out. But because my wife didn't want to listen to me, because like I said, shit finally hit. No, I didn't say it. I just said shit hit the fan. She basically wanted to just up and leave our 4-month son. She just wanted to move back in with her mom, with her parents. That's why I finally said, fine, whatever. We'll try to get your freaking stupid weed. And luckily, I didn't get any felonies. It was a non-grade misdemeanor. That and a year probation. I will never take any guilt or blame for that. Why? You can never take any blame or guilt for doing what is right for your family. I was just trying to keep my family together. Simple as that. So I will never take the blame. Blame, guilt, nope. I will do anything and everything to keep my family together. That's just how I am. But now, something like that was happening now, I'd throw her in the fucking trunk and I would drive her to the doctor. She still hasn't listened. Or she hasn't learned her lesson. She still doesn't take my advice. She still doesn't listen to me. Even after all that. So we end up, losing the house, which it's now sold. It freaking sold at a sheriff auction for, I think, like $1,250 only. I'm pretty sure probably the neighbor that owns all the houses down there bought it. Except there's a $10,000 lien on the house, so I don't know if he took ownership of it or what. Last time I went down that way, the windows were boarded up, and that was it. I won't go back there because, like, to get to the house, it's like down an alleyway, down a dirt road. Like I said, it was in back of houses on a side street. So I don't even want to listen if the freaking neighbor who bought it sees me, and I didn't want to deal with it. Which next time we go to my dad's, I'll probably drive by and see. it sucks too because there was a big ass. Now, the house was on a double lot, and then the lot next door, which was pretty much a lot and a half, was for sale. He was asking too much, but eventually, I mean, I could have gotten it. I could have freaking built onto that house. And, oh. I mean, I regret. I mean, I regret it so much, just freaking losing it. But not at the same time, not because the town went to shit. That's all I'm gonna say about that. The town, it just went to shit. Shootings all the time, drugs, and just not where you want to raise a family as far as the town goes. The area we were in was great. Nice, still old-fashioned area. So, the time we went to court and everything else and got sentenced, pled guilty and all that shit, we were already living in the apartment, paying, what was it, $575 a month or something like that only. Just a little two bedroom. It was a small place. But I got a car for my wife for Christmas just before we got forced to move. It was right before we got the letters in the mail, I think. Or it was before we knew we had to leave. I got a car, frickin' $307 a month on a 2011 Kia Rio. It only had like 18,000 miles on it at the time. I didn't dabble with my credit since paying my Grand Am off, so I had to get a high interest loan. So that budget, that car loan was expecting, that was for living there. Paying that little bit, not for frickin' paying rent. For living in Plymouth. That's what the budgeting was. So it wasn't too bad, but until we went to court and everything, then $2,500 in fines and court costs a piece. So $5,000 plus another $600 for me. He's up. I'll go down in a second. For me, I'll just finish this up and then go down and take care of him. He's more important than doing this. I'll just finish this up and leave it there. So I had a year probation. She had a year probation. $50 a month for me, $60 for her. So there is another, let's see, $600 for me. I'll just say $660 for her. So you figure there, she just made us another what? 6,000. I'm distracted now. So she made us a $6,000 some bill because she wouldn't listen to us. So there's more money while we were freaking in the apartment. And then she had trouble finding a job. So it's like, as usual, I'm paying all the rent, all the bills, paying the car payment, insurance, just paying everything. Barely putting food on the table. And my credit's fucked now because I ended up getting 4 credit cards just to pay bills and buy groceries. Mostly just for groceries. I think it was 1, or was it 3 or 4? I think it was 3. I think it was 3 credit cards. I think one was $500 and then 2 $300s. Yeah. That was... I got those in the late summer 2015, early fall. I haven't made a payment on them since November of 2015. You fell back asleep. Damn, are you talking about bad luck? What did I do to put myself in that situation at all or deserve it? I did nothing. Nothing wrong. Like I said, I will never take the blame or feel guilty for doing what's right to keep my family together. I will never take the blame for that. Even to telling the cop that. He didn't give a fuck. The detective. I always say I might be a Christian. There's only one thing that comes to mind that I cannot follow Jesus on. All his teachings. About the lion laying down with the lamb. There's so much freaking evil. That's just generally the way to describe it, evil. I mean, bad people, fucking, just... Was that Joey now? Oh, Christ. Now he's up. I don't believe in turning the other cheek to evil. Any kind at all. I mean, what the hell's the word? Like a bad person turning good's one thing, but say if let's just say a criminal, if you want to put it that way, finds God, or it's just incorporates the teachings into their being or life, or put it like I do, or like I have, and just put an effort into being a good person. That's different. That's the right way. But just people being pricks, ruining lives, or just being evil. I think they should receive even more evil. Simple as that. So I'm not going to freaking pray for my enemies. Or those who hurt and persecute me. I'm not going to pray for them. Oh, it's an individual basis. I mean, it depends on the person. But I mean, if somebody's evil, I'm not going to pray for them. Not for them. I'm going to pray I read the freaking obituary in the paper. That's just how I am. That's the only thing I can't agree on. Now Joey's freaking out, so I gotta go get him because he went to bed early. Usually doesn't freak out. So I'll leave it there for tonight. Probably pick this up maybe tomorrow after I put him to bed. Let's see. Can't think of anything. No, I'll just leave it there. Yeah, just moving. I'm freaking distracted now. Yeah, moving in the apartment. having the freaking bills that were set up for living in Plymouth, and then Amber costing us more money, barely able to even afford that place. So, yeah, from all the car payment and the fines and the court costs. Now, I'll leave it there and I'll pick this up another time.